Now this hour we start in the Middle East, where Syrian security forces have begun deploying the Druze majority province of Sweida following nearly a week of intense sectarian violence that has left over 700 people dead. The Syrian interior forces stated that the deployment aims to restore order and protect civilians. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights also reported that at least 718 people have died since Sunday, including 146 Druze fighters and 245 civilians. 287 government troops and 18 Bedouin fighters were also killed in the clashes, according to the same monitor. The violence escalated with Israeli airstrikes which claimed lives of 15 government troops. In response to the escalating violence, Syrian President Ahmed al-Shara announced an immediate ceasefire in Sweida on Saturday. This move comes as the government seeks to de-escalate tensions and prevent further bloodshed. The ceasefire is expected to give security forces time to stabilise the region and prevent further sectarian conflict. The situation remains intense, but with both Druze and Bedouin factions entrenched in ongoing clashes. We're now joined by Professor Rohan Gunaratne, who's an international security expert, and he joins us live from Singapore. Professor Gunaratne, thank you very much for joining us as always. Professor, what security risks do you see in the deployment of government forces to Sweida, and how might this affect local stability and the status of this newly announced ceasefire?
Thomas, what we have seen is that the Syrian government forces are primarily Islamists from Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, a former terrorist group that killed so many non-Muslims and Muslims. So if the Syrian forces are deployed south of Baghdad, where the Druze live, certainly they will ill-treat and humiliate and even arrest and kill the Druze population. So it is paramount that Ahmad al-Shara, the current president of Syria, does not deploy the Syrian security forces south of Damascus. That is the only way to guarantee the safety and the security of the Druze population.
Professor Gunaratne, how could external actors, both regional or international, influence the evolution or possible evolution of violence in southern Syria? As you know, we have many international actors at play, including Jordan, including Turkey, who has a lot of interest in the region, even Moscow. How do you see this influence, these countries and actors influence this situation?
The international community should assist Syria to transform its military, which consists largely of extremist and terrorist groups, into a secular military force where they recruit not only Muslims but Christians, Alawites, Kurds, and Druze. Right now, no one trusts the security forces of Syria. This transformation should take place so that the other communities will respect the Syrian military. Otherwise, what will happen is, as in the past, when the Christians were attacked, when the Kurds were attacked, when the Alawites or the Shia communities were attacked, the Druze will also be attacked. All communities should be treated equally in Syria. So that is only then we will have peace in Syria. And another very important thing, Ahmad al-Shara is an Islamist. Islamist rule should not be brought into the Syrian equation. Syria has multi-ethnic and multi-religious communities. It should be a secular state. It should not impose Sharia law, and it should never advocate that that Syria is only for the Islamists. It is for all communities, all religious groups.
Rohan Gunaratne, Donald Trump lifted sanctions on Syria back in May and said he was going to give Syria a chance at greatness. Just earlier this month, we saw a major wave of investments, which has come 6 months after the fall of Assad. This includes a $7 billion energy infrastructure project deal led by Qatar. How do you think if this wave of international investment is going to move forward, if it is, given this current look which is going on in the south of the country?
US, Qatar, Europe, Turkey and many other countries are keen to invest in Syria, and that is the way forward. But they must also send a very clear message to Ahmad al-Sharaa. No Islamism, no Sharia, equal treatment for all communities. If this kind of conflict persists against the Druze, against the Alawites, the Kurds, and other minorities, then the investors will withdraw those investments, or they will not continue with their investment. The only way Syria can become a great nation is to have a secular state where all communities can live peacefully, their religions and their cultures are preserved.
Yes, Professor Rohan Gunaratne, thank you very much for joining us on the programme. Pleasure to have you as always. We now move on, but stay